Okay, so you want to blend in Italy, right?
You want to experience it like a local, not a tourist.
Well, we've got you covered.
We're diving deep today into Italian etiquette.
The do's and don'ts, basically.
This stuff most guidebooks just gloss over.
Yeah, they'll tell you to see the Colosseum, but not how to, actually interact with the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about those subtle cues, those unwritten rules.
That can really make or break your trip.
And honestly make you feel more comfortable, too.
Less like you're sticking out like a sore thumb.
More like you belong.
Right, so we've got this whole collection of tips and tricks.
From greetings to what to wear to street smarts.
Our mission is to boil it down to the absolute essentials.
The stuff that'll truly enhance your experience.
And make you feel like an insider in no time.
All right, let's jump right in.
Let's talk first impressions.
That very first interaction you have.
What's the #1 thing we need to know?
One word. Buongiorno
Buongiorno.
or buonasera, depending on the time of day.
Right, good day, good evening.
It's crucial when you enter a shop or address someone.
So not just like passing someone on the street,
Yeah, more like when you're initiating contact.
like entering a restaurant,
Exactly. It shows respect for their space.
like you're acknowledging them.
And it's way more impactful than just saying ciao right off the bat.
So ciao is a no-go for those initial interactions.
Well, it's not a hard no, but it's more informal.
More for friends and family.
People you already have a connection with.
Got it. So stick with the formal buongiorno at first.
Even if your pronunciation isn't perfect.
They'll appreciate the effort.
Huge time. It shows you're trying.
Not just expecting everyone to speak English.
And honestly, a little bit of effort goes a long way in Italy.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to appearances.
How we present ourselves visually.
Our Italian fashion sense.
Because let's be real, you could often spot a tourist a mile away.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And one of the biggest giveaways.
The dreaded flip-flops.
Yeah, apparently flip-flops are a dead giveaway.
Unless you're at the beach, of course.
Right exactly at the beach. They're fine.
But for strolling through city streets,
Or entering a shop or restaurant.
not so much.
It's just considered a bit too casual.
Like you haven't put in any effort.
Now, that doesn't mean you need to be dressed to the nines.
Yeah, comfort is still key.
Especially with all the walking you'll be doing.
Cobblestone streets and ancient ruins.
You definitely need comfy shoes.
So it's about finding that balance.
Between practicality and looking presentable.
Showing respect for the environment.
And then, of course, there are specific rules for religious sites.
Right, this is super important.
If you're planning on visiting any churches,
Like St. Peter's Basilica or St. Mark's.
the dress code is strict.
Knees and shoulders must be covered.
Absolutely no exceptions.
So pack accordingly, folks.
A light scarf or shawl can be a lifesaver.
And make sure your shorts or skirts are an appropriate length.
It's all about modesty and respect.
For those sacred spaces.
Right. And nobody wants to be turned away at the door.
Especially after waiting in line for hours.
Okay, moving on to safety.
A crucial aspect of any trip.
Especially in crowded tourist areas.
Pickpocketing is a real concern.
The advice is to be extra vigilant.
Don't keep your valuables in easily accessible pockets.
A zipped bag is much safer.
Or a money belt worn under your clothes.
Just being aware of your surroundings can make a huge difference.
And then there's the art of crossing the street in Italy.
Which can be a bit of an adventure in itself.
Right, because drivers don't always stop at crosswalks.
Yeah, that's something to really keep in mind.
So how do we navigate this safely?
Eye contact is key
Make sure the driver sees you.
and acknowledges your intention to cross,
A hand gesture can also be helpful.
just to reinforce the message.
Don't just assume they'll stop.
Be assertive, but cautious.
All right, let's talk language again.
Beyond the initial greetings,
How much Italian do we really need to know?
well, you don't need to be fluent.
But a few basic phrases can go a long way.
Please, thank you.
Excuse me.
Those are essential.
And maybe a few simple questions.
They're like asking for directions or ordering food.
Shows you're making an effort.
And Italians really appreciate that.
It can make your interactions so much smoother.
More pleasant and less transactional.
Right, like you're actually engaging with the culture.
Not just treating it like a backdrop.
Okay, next up. Money matters.
The practicalities of paying for things.
Credit cards are widely accepted.
But it's still wise to have some cash on hand.
Because not every place takes cards.
Especially smaller shops and family-run restaurants.
Or places in more rural areas.
So having some euros can save you a lot of hassle.
And potential embarrassment.
Like finishing a meal and then realizing you can't pay with a card.
Definitely don't want that to happen.
Now let's talk about something fun.
Italian coffee culture.
Ah, yes, the ritual of coffee.
Starting the day with a cappuccino.
And ending it with a cafe.
That strong little espresso.
It's such an integral part of the Italian lifestyle.
And there's a reason why cappuccinos are typically a morning drink.
They're seen as more of a breakfast beverage.
Because of the milk?
Yeah.
Exactly. A lighter way to start the day.
Whereas espresso is more of an afternoon pick-me-up.
Or a digestive after a meal.
So embracing these local customs can really enhance your experience.
Make you feel like you're in the flow of things.
Not just observing from the outside.
And ultimately, the advice boils down to this.
Relax. Have fun. Immerse yourself.
Embrace the Italian way of life.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Exactly. It's all about being open and receptive.
Soaking it all in.
Not being afraid to try new things.
And maybe even picking up a few Italian habits along the way.
Okay, let's recap the key takeaways for our listeners.
The stuff you absolutely need to remember.
First impressions matter. Buongiorno and buona sera.
Not ciao right away.
Nitch the flip-flops unless you're at the beach.
And cover those knees and shoulders for churches.
Be mindful of your belongings in crowded areas.
And extra cautious crossing the street.
Make eye contact with drivers.
A little Italian goes a long way.
Carry some cash just in case.
Embrace the coffee rituals.
And most importantly, have fun. Enjoy the experience.
See these tips not as restrictions, but as opportunities.
To connect with the culture on a deeper level.
To have a more authentic and fulfilling trip.
Who knows what you might discover?
By simply saying, buongiorno, with a smile.
Or sipping an espresso like a true Italian.
That's something to think about.
As you plan your Italian adventure.
And we'll be back next time with another deep dive.
Into a whole new topic.
Until then, ciao.